Hello. How's it going? Okay. Well, let me take that out. Uh, All right. I just felt like talking really quickly. It's been a while since I have, well, I guess maybe a week or so. I'm not sure. Since I've done a live. So I just feel like talking really quickly. So, I'm seeing that the rules have changed with EBT. Now, I've never had an EBT card. I've never had public assistance. I find something wrong with it when people are extremely abusive of those benefits. And then they brag to the other people who are paying taxes just so they can have those benefits. So I guess it's something, there's a video that's going viral. There's a video that's going viral on TikTok about a lady who had 9 children, a brown lady who had 9 children, and she was pregnant with triplets. Well, her EBT, all of her benefits was completely just removed. Okay. And I don't watch TikTok, but I want to check on that lady. Now, so people have been going on TikTok bragging about how EBT is paying for all of their groceries, pretty much throwing it in the faces of people who don't get EBT. But the people who don't get EBT are paying taxes for you to get EBT. See, they act like the government is just giving them money just out of their own pockets. It's coming from people who are paying taxes. You're bragging and you're throwing it in my face because I have to pay. People are able to buy pet food, cat food, and dog food. I have to pay. That stuff is expensive. I have to pay out of my pocket. And these people with a lot of people, not everybody, I'm not going to just jump on everybody, but some of these people with EBT are getting on TikTok and bragging, literally throwing it in the faces of people who don't get EBT. So this brown lady, who have 9 kids, got on the internet bragging, saying that yes, I can't help it that you are upset with me because I'm able to get all of my food for free while I can have the government pay for my rent and pay for my food while I go on vacations and you mad at me. She just bragging. Like literally bragging. So entitled. See, let me tell you something. This is not because I'm gonna get to a Caucasian lady who was worse than her. So this is not a brown woman's thing. This is an entitlement problem. This is an entitlement problem. It's not just about brown women, but this woman had the nerve to keep having kids, and she was pregnant with triplets when her EBT benefits got cut off. I'm not saying I wouldn't even try to raise a GoFundMe. I wouldn't even start a GoFundMe for her. I would not, because this woman obviously kept having children because she knew that the government will always take care of her. And you know what? That's bad enough right there to continue to have children because you know it don't matter if the man is never going to be around. The government is always going to take care of you, so you don't need a man. Okay, that's bad enough. But she had the nerve to get her butt online and put other people down who weren't getting benefits. Basically, putting people like me down that have to work full time and don't even get half of what she gets. Don't even get half. That's why I don't believe in the poor community. That's when people talk about how poor they are and the poor black community, the poor whatever community. I said, bull crap. Because I have a sibling and she works now. So I'm not talking about her. But I'm just using her as an example of, because I know, not personally, but close to being personal, of how benefits actually are, people who are call themselves poor but they're getting benefits. They actually get more than people who work very hard. They can't get benefits. So I don't believe in all that, especially when I come from I never lived in the hood, but I grew up in an area where it was nothing but black people. And they always call themselves being jealous of people who had money or who like had parents who were doctors or lawyers or something like that. They were always jealous of people who appeared to have money and always saying, oh, you think you this, or you think you too good, or you think you this. I never felt sorry for them because they always got benefits. They never had to pay for their insurance. I have to pay for my insurance. They never had to pay for their insurance. They never had to pay for their food. They never had to pay for their rent. Why are you jealous? You don't have to work to pay for anything, and you have the nerve to be jealous of people who have to work their ass off. Okay? So I just can't. This is at this point, this is why I see why some people from other countries who come into the United States of America, or who don't even live in the United States of America, I can see how they talk about people in the United States. I can see how they talk about how people in the United States are so entitled and so privileged. They are entitled and privileged. And I can see why that's why some people that come from those other third world nations, I can see why they're so spiritual, because they have to rely on spirituality for their survival. Because otherwise they wouldn't have survived. I can see why they are so spiritual as well. Okay? I'm very much like that. I'm from the United States of America, but I've been through so much under so much spiritual attack that I'm just as spiritual as those people are. And I don't even come from a third world nation, but because I've constantly, since as a child, constantly been under spiritual attack, I'm the same way they are. Okay? I've had to always work as an adult for anything I've had. And my parents, me growing up well with my parents, they had to work for every dime they got. They had to go to school. And people had the nerve to get jealous of that. How do you have the nerve to get jealous when you, being a brown person, can go get a scholarship based on your skin color? You can go to a predominantly white. I don't know if you can do that now with Trump in effect. I'm not against Trump. Let me make that clear. I'm not against Trump, but I don't think they'll be able to do that now with Trump in effect. But it was a time, and white people was able to go to Tuskegee University, and they were able to get their scholarship based on their whiteness. The same way brown people were able to go to predominantly white institutions and get their scholarships based on them being a minority. White people were able to go to HBCUs and get a scholarship based on them being a minority. So it's not just about being so-called black. Okay. But the point I'm making is I got so annoyed that they would get jealous over the accomplishments that people work so hard to get. And you got the nerve to get jealous. I have nothing for people who get jealous, especially if they're able-bodied. That I can tell they're smart. They're able to form sentences, so I can tell they can read and write. I can tell they're smart. If you're able-bodied, you're smart. I have no tolerance for jealousy when you're able-bodied and you have the mind to get up and do something. Because I know what it's like not to have your mind. Trust me, it was a time I didn't have my mind. It was all because of some stuff that happened when I was growing up. Okay, not because of something that happened as an adult. So I know what it's like to grow up without your mind, or basically without your identity. But you have able-bodied people who never lost their identity that had the nerve to get jealous. And I have nothing for people who get jealous when they are able, because jealous because they don't have the balls, they don't have the courage to go out and get what's been promised to them, because they don't have the courage to go out and get what the Most High has for them. They want to be jealous of other people who work hard. you know. But I wanna check up on this. I wanna look at this lady. She lost her benefits. She bragged. This lady that was on TikTok, a brown lady that was on TikTok, had 9 kids, and bragged to the public, I guess on TikTok, that yeah, it's what did she say? She was basically throwing it in people's faces, saying that yeah, I get benefits. You don't be mad at me because I'm able to go on vacations because the government paid for my rent, because the government paid for my groceries and my rent. So I'm able to save my money and go on vacation and you can't. I mean, she literally just put everybody down who didn't get benefits. And she bragged, and it was a TikTok video she did where she bragged on spending $1,000 on food using her EBT. She bragged that she spent $1,000 using, but she got so much money because she had 9 kids. I'd rather work hard than to have 9 children. That I have 2 dogs that give me a headache. They don't really give me a headache. The only reason they give me a headache is because they well, one of them in particular, she's just kind of bad. Other than that, dogs are not really too hard to maintain unless they get sick or something like that. Other than that, they're quite low maintenance. They're very much low maintenance. They're not like children. You can love them like that, like they're your children, but they're not like having a human child. Okay, the maintenance is not as much. It's not as much maintenance required with the dog as with the child. But she lost her benefits, and this is what people get. Let me not. I'm gonna try not to say aha. I don't want to have that type of energy towards this lady. But I'm also going to say that has she not gone online to brag so much about the benefits that she was getting and putting other people down who didn't get benefits? Has she not gone online bragging like that? She probably wouldn't have lost it. So it looks to me like somebody might have targeted that lady. Somebody might have targeted that lady and said, absolutely not. She cannot have no more benefits. So now this lady have 9 children, and she was pregnant with triplets, and she lost her benefits. She lost her benefits. And now she's, I guess, trying to figure out how she's going to take care of her kids. This is just me showing tough love from the spirit. She should not get a GoFundMe. Nobody should give her any money. She's already pretty much got enough money from people paying taxes where she goes and spends $1,000 on food while her rent gets paid and she gets to go on vacations with the money she's able to save because her rent is paid. And she's able to go on vacations. We've already given her money. We've already given her GoFundMes. She's gotten GoFundMes for a long time. So at this point, simply because she had the nerve to throw it in people's faces who did not get benefits, I feel like there should be no money raised for her. She needs to learn a lesson. She needs to learn a lesson about getting pregnant from men who have no interest in taking care of their children. It was clear that she was only giving birth to children to continue to get government assistance. And now her government assistance is getting cut off. And I would have felt a little something for her had she not went online to brag and to put other people down. Okay, if she wasn't so full of pride. I might have felt something for her, but because she had the nerve to literally put taxpayers down while she gets a check that she never has to pay taxes on, while her rent is paid, while her grocery bill is completely paid. She had the nerve to put down the taxpayers who are the ones that are providing her that lifestyle. Okay. Now I want to get to this Caucasian lady. I want to get to. It was a Caucasian lady. That was. They a lot of these TikTokers are on at Walmart. I noticed that the store looks like Walmart. A lot of these people go to Walmart to do all their shopping. It was a Caucasian lady who had kids, and she didn't lose her benefits, but she was upset that she couldn't get junk food. But basically, she couldn't get sugary, like she couldn't get sodas, and she couldn't get candy and chips and all that stuff. Her EBT wouldn't pay for that. She was having a fit. She was having a fit because she could not get junk food anymore. And I'm like, boo hoo. Boo freaking who. I literally see what these other countries are talking about. Because at first I was like, yeah, I get that we have it a little bit better in the United States of America, but I didn't get the extent of what they were talking about. I didn't see it. Now I see it. Now I see what they're talking about. Now I see what they're talking about. That lady, because let me tell you something, there was a brown lady who did not know that she couldn't get junk food. So she made a video saying that she had to put all this junk food back and she could only get healthy stuff. But she didn't complain. She just said she felt dumb. She didn't complain. Now, this was a different brown lady, not the one with the 9 kids plus 3 in the oven. Not her. Her benefits was completely cut off. Okay? This was another brown lady who's still getting benefits, but she couldn't get junk food. And she went into the line and she didn't realize that the junk food was cut off. Okay, well, she was just embarrassed. She didn't complain. She was just embarrassed because she didn't know. She didn't know, okay? That's fine. There was a Caucasian lady, okay, who she already knew. She didn't go into the line and get turned around and say, oh, no, well, you got to put all this back. She already knew ahead of time. She made a video complaining of the vegetables that she had to buy. I have to buy broccoli. I have to get this. Got this. She made a video complaining that she could only get healthy food. She made a video complaining about that. Okay. I wish I could get benefits to pay for the food I get every day because most of the stuff I get have to be healthy because I'm a certain age and I can't eat junk food like that anymore. I gain weight too doggone fast. Okay? Like I don't have high metabolism. So the stuff that she's complaining about is the stuff that I eat on a regular basis that I have to pay out of my pocket. And she's complaining that she can only get healthy food. And you have social media, pretty much the people who are on EBT complaining about this. And then that's when it dawned on me. This is what people from other third world countries are talking about. How entitled people in the United States are. They say how entitled Americans are. I want to change that because America is a continent. And you have South America and Central America where people are poor. So I don't want to say Americans are entitled. I want to say people, mostly North Americans, people in the United States of America are the most entitled. The most entitled. Because I don't even know if Canadians are that entitled. So I don't want to just say Americans are entitled because that would include the people in South America and other people who are in countries that are extremely poor. Extremely, extremely poor. They're not entitled at all. Okay? And when I laugh, I mean that to say they're not entitled the way that people say Americans are entitled. Not to laugh at their poverty. Okay? Yeah, she was just having a fit. But at the same time, you'll have more Caucasian women that will have a bigger fit than you will have brown women. Why? Because they are the most privileged group of people out of everybody, probably in the world. They are the most privileged group of people out of everybody, I believe, in the world. And the reason I say this is because they can go anywhere in the world and they are received. A lot of brown women cannot go anywhere and be everywhere and be received. They can go anywhere they want to be go and be get received. So they are the most privileged group of people. And so when something is cut off from them, they get very, very upset. Okay? But I just feel like talking about that really quickly. And let me see. Hold on. Yeah, you said my neighbor get is that $500? Yeah. Worth of food stamps for her three children and her and her baby daddy. Yeah. And Trump is cutting that off. And I want to go into this too. Well, I'll say that another one. It's about, people and racism being reopened that never was, it was just being hidden, but now it's coming to full circle because now a lot of people who have employed a lot of brown people, they are getting rid of a lot of brown people. And this racism is coming out again. They don't have to hide it anymore. For the longest, they had to hide their racism. So I believe what it is you're getting rid of people who abuse benefits, but it's also the truth is being exposed. The truth that's in people is starting to be exposed. And I'm kind of glad for that too, right? The truth, the way people are, is about to be exposed. The dangerous thing about it is that what was I going to say? I was going to say the dangerous thing about it is that you don't want people, people shouldn't just get away with just doing too much because now a lot of these people who are allowed to practice their racism, they they might get away with a lot of things that they shouldn't get away with, right? Uh, but anyway, I'll talk about that in a different. I don't want to use this video to talk about that, but yeah, I believe the truth is just being exposed. A lot of stuff is just coming out. But I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm not for either or, honestly. I really feel like the Most High, and the real Most High, the real Most High, okay, needs to go back and rule where we can have righteousness. Because right now, trying to choose any human being to be a president, it's hard to have complete righteousness. There's always going to be flaws. But when the Most High rules, there will be no flaws. And that's just what we need to get back to. So no need to complaining about anybody who's president. People need to learn how to trust in the Most High, whatever it is that they trust in, just not trust in a human being or somebody that you think is human. Don't put your trust in them anymore. That's what people have to learn. But anyway, that is it. And I will talk later. Alrighty.